Hey, what's going on everyone? Today we're going to be talking about the 10 best free-to-play heroes in LEGO Legacy. So all of these heroes will either be farmable from a node or a store, or you'll just get their tiles for free by playing the game. So in no particular order, the first character on this list is Redbeard. Redbeard is, in my opinion, the best character in the entire game, and you actually get his tiles for free every day just by playing. If you do your daily quests every day, you'll get 3 free tiles each day. And that can be both a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is you don't have to worry about farming him, but on the flip side, you can't speed up the farming process if you wanted to, so sometimes it might take a little bit longer than you want to actually get him to 7 stars. But at 7 stars, he is an incredibly effective unit, even at lower star levels, but especially at 7. He is easily the best character in the game. He's got great control with his stun and disarmed with his basic and his second special here. He can heal pirates and also dispel debuffs on your entire team, pirates or not. He also has huge amounts of damage with all of his attacking abilities, including his ultimate, which can do well over 15,000 damage and inflict some really helpful debuffs. He will also counterattack and protect your team by inflicting more disarmed as they get damaged thanks to his passive. And on top of that, he's got really great stats as well. He is a little bit slow, that's really the only downfall here. But other than that, he is a very well-rounded character and works well in just about any team. Now, Redbeard is a fantastic character by himself, but he works even better with another pirate in the team, especially Scarlet. This duo is one of the best duos in the entire game, and it's relatively accessible. Scarlet is now an arena store farm, so you can get tiles for her from the arena store, and if you are a new player, I highly recommend farming for her here. She is, in my opinion, one of the best tanks in the entire game. She will automatically taunt when one of your units falls below 50% health. You don't have to wait for an ability or her turn, so that can be incredibly effective to just help protect your units, while other units like Redbeard or Bart or someone else like Hiker has a chance to heal them back up. Of course, she primarily works in a pirate team. She gains a lot of defense in a pirate team. But even outside of that, she can be effective as long as she's paired with Redbeard, and sometimes even without Redbeard, she can work as well. She's very helpful to pair with Aurora, actually, because typically in an Aurora revive team, if Aurora dies, the team falls apart, and we'll talk more about Aurora in a second here. She is also on this list, but Scarlet is very helpful to taunt when Aurora starts to get low, and just help protect her and give her time to heal. And besides her taunt, she's also got some other good abilities. She can dispel buffs with her first special, which is very, very useful, and she can also heal herself as well as extend her taunt if needed. She also has some of the best stats in the entire game, a pretty low attack number, but she has the highest defense in the entire game and one of, if not the highest health pools, which is very helpful with a tank, especially one that gains so much defense. She becomes one of the most tanky units in the entire game and is very useful in almost any team similar to Redbeard, and those two together is extremely effective. The last pirate on this list is Cookbar. He is the best single target healer in the entire game. He'll heal for 55% of his own max health, and this is only a 2-turn cooldown. So every other turn he can use this ability and heal someone for quite a bit. At the level I have him right now, he is over 17,000 health, which is a pretty substantial heal to any unit. And of course, he only gains more health with this gear piece right here. Looks like over 1,000 more health, and then with his last few levels here, he'll probably be closer to 18,500 health, which is around 9,000 for the heal. And the interesting thing about Cookbar is he can also do quite a bit of damage. At the level I have him right now, he's got over 3,000 attack. And his second special and basic both do quite a bit of damage, especially in a pirate team with the Forbidden Island. He can actually be very useful to help take out units, and of course he is a pirate, so he works well with Redbeard and Scarlet, as we just talked about. Next on this list is Magisto. He's another character that you don't have to farm. He's the achievement reward character, so again, just by playing the game and completing stuff within the game, you'll get tiles for this character, and you can get him to a usable level pretty quickly. Even at 4 stars, he is very, very effective. Now, he of course is the cornerstone to the castle faction. He is what really makes them work, but he can work in certain scenarios outside of castle. Not super well, but certain elements of his kit like the Dizzy can make him work with Chill and some other units. His Clumsy is very nice with his first special ability, he can clear and copy buffs with his basic, and his second special ability can heal and also give payback, which is very helpful to give to a tank to help both protect them, heal them back up, and make them counterattack. And of course his ultimate is great too. It has a very low cooldown, only a cooldown of 5, so you can use this pretty often actually, and it is very effective. So yeah, all around another really solid unit. Then we have Jester, who I believe is the character with the highest max health in the entire game. Mine right now has over 21,000, and I believe a max Jester would have around 22,500 total max health. And he is one of the best early to mid game healers. He's really effective because he can heal the team very quickly when he taunts and then is damaged. He doesn't do much damage or too much besides his heal, but his heal is so effective that it makes him very powerful in pretty much any team. He's a really good plug and play unit, but in the end game he's not going to be as effective. So if you plan to use him, I would recommend using him earlier on, possibly later if you're running a castle team, but castle is not as effective nowadays. But nonetheless, he's still a valuable unit early on. After him, we have Hiker, who I'm sure you are all very familiar with. He is probably the best early to mid-game healer. He's got one of the best AoE heals in the entire game. He can give defense to his allies. His basic isn't bad as well. He's got pretty good stats early on. It falls off a little bit later. He's only got 11,000 health right now at the level I have him at. But yeah, early to mid game he is fantastic, later on not so much, but also he is a very easy farm early on, so you can get him to a very effective level without too much trouble, and honestly sticking him in a pirate team when you're first starting out can help you climb pretty high in arena, and overall is pretty helpful for Brickspedition as well, which is of course one of the main PvE game modes in the game, and he is definitely great for that. But the next character here, Aurora, is probably the best for Brickspedition. She has an incredible revive, and this will be reset every time someone dies with the Ice Glider, and she'll gain a bunch of pep as well, thanks to both her passive and the fourth ability on the Ice Glider. And that can lead her to reviving units over and over, back to back, which is obviously very effective and basically completely negates any need for medkits, which can be pricey if you end up needing to purchase those. But overall, she's one of the best units for PvE. She can be decent in PvP, especially for offense. On defense, not so much, because it's relatively easy to snipe her and then get her out of the battle unless she's in a really powerful team. But generally, she's not great for PvP defense, but I still quite like the character. And she also has a really fantastic heal right here, which is very useful and can just help keep your team alive as well. And she also does have some pretty solid stats. 14,000 health, not too bad. Probably closer to 15,000 when totally maxed, and I mean, it's not quite as much as some of the main tanks in the game, but for a healer, that's a pretty solid number. Then we have Lloyd, who is one of the best Ninjago units. He is incredibly effective against pirates because he can give the team stealth, which completely prevents the counterattacks from Redbeard that I talked about earlier. He can also heal himself and gain dodgy with Woo. He is just a really fantastic unit. Unfortunately, he does share a store now with Scarlet, so in my opinion, you should prioritize taking Scarlet to 6 or 7 stars before you even consider working on Lloyd. But once you get to that point, he can be a very fun and powerful unit to use in a battle, and has been one of my favorites for quite a while. I used him in my arena team for close to 8 months without break, so he is definitely a good unit. And the next character here is also a Ninjago unit. This time it is Garmadon, who, as long as you do Brickspedition, you also technically don't have to farm, since you'll get talents for him just by playing through Brickspedition and completing the last mission on each day. So potentially you can get 7 tiles of him each week, 1 per day, so he is a pretty slow farm, but even at 2 or 3 stars, he is very effective, and as long as you have him at gear 6 or 7 with maxed abilities, he can destroy in arena. He can do over 6k hits at 3 stars. He has a really nice self-heal. He can of course give tons of great buffs to the team, and he gives a 30% offense boost to Ninjago allies, which is obviously incredibly powerful and really helps units like Kai do way more damage, and not for a huge investment, because you really only need to have him at 2 or 3 stars. And speaking of Kai, he is the last unit on this list. He is one of the best attackers in the entire game. His AoE can hit for over 15,000. His basic has done over 22,000 for me personally. His second special is great as well. He's got a pretty solid passive and really great stats. Nearly 4,000 attack when completely maxed. A bit low on the health, but in a Ninjago team, he'll be hidden under stealth for most of the battle, so that isn't a huge deal. And also with the dojo, he can be protected by Hardy, and he also does have 700 defense, which helps him a little bit also in the survivability department. Overall, really fantastic attacker, one of my personal favorites, and I definitely recommend he's a character that you farm. So there we go, those in my opinion are the 10 best free-to-play heroes in LEGO Legacy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.